Gotcha.
That's where it is.
Smart. It's a good move.
Well, we got some important news.
Yeah.
So I guess let's preface it. You want to start off with that? Say what our short PSA, our was podcast short PSA is going to start off with now.
Yeah. So pretty much the reasoning behind our being here and what we were interested in talking about and like bringing up was I guess we're following up on some of the recent conversation that was had and a number of the channels about plans for next season and previous discussions, going as far back as the last like 3 podcasts or whatever about my plans moving forward for the program and like what I wanted to see and things like that. So we kind of are in this position leading up to what we're getting ready to talk about. And basically, I what hold on one second. Yeah? Okay. I don't know. I told them that I'd be here. Anyway. So we got led up to, this position where it's very difficult, and I personally wasn't interested in pursuing another season. Not that, there isn't any benefit to it, but like for me personally, I it takes a lot of time for me to organize it and oversee it, and the time that I spend doing those things is time that I am not spending actually helping people work on their game, which is like why I started, the Spartan V program in the first place, is to help people get good and to build relationships while doing it. And I haven't failed in doing that, not in the slightest. We've built a lot of very strong relationships within the space. And, when you look at the results from last season, it was by no means a failure. It was a very large success. A very, very high proportion of the people who participated got better over the course of the season, and all but one of them who did not feel like they got better, all but one of them felt that it was only because of the lack of effort from themselves that they didn't make any progress. And that's things that they said, specifically in their thing, that they wanted to make it clear that it wasn't the program that was, negatively influencing them or whatever. It was just they weren't putting in the time. So, it was good. And I don't have any concerns about, people, if they are unable to put in the time, I don't feel bad about that as long as, they're happy and they're living life, they're doing their thing, that's my bottom line. So, the last season is definitely like a success. And, and then that's like kind of funny then that I'm not interested in doing another one, but there's some things that have changed between then and now. So I looked at the situation. There were a number of situations in the program where I guess there were certain players stuck on team situations that weren't really productive for them. And while they still made some progress, their experiences weren't as fruitful as they could have been if they maybe had more active teammates or teammates just like meshed with them a little bit better or more active coaches for their team. So there were some of those people that fell by the wayside a little bit. And also the number of people still participating that played last season between players and coaches is, lower right now because of the holiday season, like other games and how late we are in Halo 5's life cycle, and just being on the other end of like some of the drama that we talked about, in the last podcast or two, from the 343 community side of things. So, there are some things that changed that made me want to try and consider pursuing a different structure for the program, talking about playing events and things like that. and rolling from there. And we did that, just for like a couple of things, and um, it was pretty clear that the level of participation in that was lower on a consistent basis than maybe like the regular season structure when that was in the full swing of things, which is understandable because they're not planned as far ahead. There's like a lower commitment on the front end. The time frame in which these things occurred is different. And some of them are just like set at times that not everyone can make, which is like totally reasonable. So that's
So
not
I,
like it was a. Oh, go ahead.
so I guess where does that put us then? Like going forward with
Yeah.
with
So.
those things in mind, like
Mhm. Yeah.
what new path are we taking
So
then?
yeah, the transition then, right? So you know, people made their voices heard that they had a lot of fun last season, and there's no doubt. I had fun as well coaching with Kitty Squad, and a lot of people got a lot out of that experience, and there's no doubting that. It's just something that I personally am not comfortable continuing to put in the time to oversee. Uh, not only from like a motivational standpoint where I want to spend more time working with players rather than organizing things, the business stuff, but also like I'm going to my last semester at Notre Dame, hopefully graduating in May. And, I've done really well up through now. And, I'm interested in finishing strong on that. Uh, so that leads to me taking a step back from the role that I've had in the Spartan V program where I'm overseeing everything. I'm setting things up left and right for, you know, guiding, I guess, the program, the main part of it. So I will be stepping back from doing that. And that being said, there are folks who are more interested in that business type of things. There are people who are very passionate about the program. There are people who are passionate about, helping the players get better. They're passionate about the organizational side of it, like getting things casted and having fun and things like that. So uh, this is a conversation then that I had with my right hand man here, Gary,
Yeah.
who's been here since the start of the program, and even though we're like different people and like people, players and coaches, like they perceive us to be, two different people because we are two different people. We've agreed on like a lot of things, even though we've disagreed on some things, and we have a very high percentage, I think, of seeing eye to eye or being understanding about some of like the big
I think
concerns.
end goals are the same. Means
So
might be means might differ, but I think we
the
have very
the
similar
core
ideas.
overlaps,
Yeah, like
and
our core ideals for the program are like they're very similar.
yeah, so there's no doubt about it. Um, and Gary is someone who displays those characteristics, is passionate about those things, has the time and the fire to go ahead and pursue that structure, which a lot of people enjoyed, a lot of people benefited from, and he's the one rather than me who's going to be able to provide that moving forward. So Gary will be taking a step forward, a step up from the role that he's taken. And while I'll still be around and I'm still going to be coaching and, doing my thing, I'm trying to focus putting on my time where I want to put mine. And I'm interested in letting Gary, pursue his passions and do what he wants to do as well. So this is an arrangement that works out really well for the both of us that I think by extension the people in the program then will be able to also, I think, reap the benefits of this evolution, I guess.
So
So,
basically,
hmm,
leadership change is what's happening. I'm
yeah,
gonna step up and I'm gonna take a large part of the administration roles of the program, where when it's league structure, making things the day to day operations, and Brooks is going to take a step back and focus more on what the coach, what's expected of the coaches in the program on the 1v1 individual basis of the players in the program, helping teams, all that fun stuff that is I think that's what you really wanted to do when this program started, and you kind of got relegated into an admin role where you were setting up, where you got to spend less and less time with the people and more time on Google spreadsheets
Yeah.
and things like that. And
Which,
I think it's
yeah, I
just
mean
time
that's a necessary part of it. No doubt about it. It's just something that the time that I eventually found myself doing that type of stuff, and it's stuff that I'm not super experienced with, and or interested in doing down the road. It's like that wasn't an arrangement that I found myself in that I wanted to be in. Things weren't like going. My time wasn't being spent in as productive or as like personally fulfilling of a manner as I think it would be if I just spent more time, working with players.
So that being said, this next upcoming 2018 year, we're gonna have a lot of different goals in mind.
2018, man.
Yeah. Moving on to the future.
It's
So
gonna be a good one.
season 2, starting back up, teams starting to get established again, new players being added, lots of new things going to be happening within the next month. So be ready for the Discord to be active and
Cleaned.
things happening. Not what we've been experiencing for the last couple of months, but
Yeah, because
like
we've
now
just been kind of hanging out. Like
yeah
we've been hibernating. Now it's time to wake up a little early for the end of winter.
yeah we ran out of fat basically, so we're gonna have to go find some food. But
Yeah, something like that.
something like that. But basically, season 2 starting soon. Different league structure, different ways that we're going to approach things. Coaching is going to be a little different. We're going to add a lot more people probably in the next coming weeks, and seeing how that works out. A lot of feedback posts, a lot of necessary things that are going to happen, and your feedback is going to be very important through every step of the way. So just be prepared. Things are going to start being on the swing again, and we're going to start having seasons. Our season starting, we're going to try not having as many breaks as we've had, and try getting the program to where it is self-sustaining. I think that's the 2018 end goal, is to have a program at the end of the year that's self-sustaining, ready for Halo 6, and have it prosper whether we're here or not.
Yeah, and the self-sustainment is something that I think is incredibly important, because that was a concern that I had, especially towards the end of the summer, where I was on all the time, like busting my butt. I come home from work and I get on and I do program stuff until I went to bed, besides working out, like eating dinner or whatever. I was like, if I just like died, like God forbid, then,
Program.
nobody has the keys to the program. Program's done. All the fun that you guys have been having, you could just use the Discord server until it crashes and dies, and that's it. So it's like, that's not something that you want to do from like a occupational standpoint, where this thing that you're building, to help people and generate positive experiences, you don't want that to be reliant on yourself, because whether I was like, something happened to me that was like serious, or if I just need to like take a step back for like personal reasons or whatever like that, I don't want that positivity then to be absent because of my absence. And that was like, I didn't have enough time, to go ahead and do that, or I didn't make enough of a push. That wasn't like a main priority for me to set up the program to be self-sustaining. So, but that was definitely like a goal and a thought that I had from the start. So that's a goal that I'm definitely behind. And I think working with Gary to establish the structure that we are talking about, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, with that, I don't think there's really much else to talk about. I mean, just be on the lookout. Starting the new year, things are going to change. Things are going to start happening. It's not going to be we're coming out of hibernation, basically, I guess, is the big announcement. And leadership change.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna talk more details moving forward. The only things that I think we'd have to say now, just to like think about and like have on your mind, are the things that Gary had just said. You know, things are going to pick up a little bit. There's going to be some different things that we're looking at moving forward. We will be, you know, there's not just going to be changes implemented overnight or anything, but there's going to be a hard push early for trying out different things, providing a lot of opportunities for feedback and transparency. That way we can, you know, all have a part of this process and end up well on the other end. I know that even though I held, you know, the ultimate final say in my time as like founder and of SVP and stuff, there is so much positivity and value that was generated within the program from ideas of others. If I just went with anything that I was feeling and nothing but that, and I never asked for ideas from anyone, it would have been a pretty shitty experience relative to what it was. What we have is not reliant on me being at the top, even though I was technically at the top and had the final say on the decisions. But it was an experience composed of everyone's participation, from me to the other coaches to all the players, our interactions, our ideas, everyone sharing, and you know, just putting in the work. So that's ultimately what it's going to come down to, and that's not changing. We're all still here, same people. Um, you know, it's just a little bit more focus. So there's going to be some change. So you know, be flexible, but it's going to be good things. And you know, if anyone is concerned about my, you know, the switching of like roles or anything, like I'm still right here, and you know, even though it's my baby, and I think that there's a certain respect that will be given to whatever my word is because of my presence here, I'm very interested in, you know, letting Gary, not just like allowing him, but like I want Gary to have this opportunity to, you know, do his thing and like run with his vision, because I know that, you know, Gary's a very passionate person, and when he puts his mind to it, he could do some pretty good shit with that. So you know, it's a very good experience for him in his life to be able to pursue that passion and have this experience and, you know, make mistakes. And, you know, as a person, it's going to be something that's very valuable for him, like it's been for me. So, um, you know, it's going to be good.
So let's make shit happen. You know.
Let's do it. I'm
But
going to cry. We need to hurry up and end this.
yeah, I think